Hey everybody, Stevo here, and I was going to go over per the request of one of my friends, Eric, how I use Python with Vim to be productive. The first thing that I'm going to go over is where some of this stuff lives, and if you need more information about like my Vim setup, it'll give you kind of a generic rundown of where some of this stuff is. Take a look at my GitHub page with Steve Vim, and you'll see some of the skeletons and whatnot that I have where you can kind of copy some of my setup and make it your own. So, like, first, let's get down to how I'm going to be editing Python. Initially, you just start with the script. Right now, we'll start with test.py. And I use something called snippets to start my stuff out. And I have a variety of different snippets for different types of files, but since we're focusing on Python in this particular instance, I'll tell you how I do that. Usually all my script extensions have a shebang, and you press tab, and it fills it in with general settings that I usually like: sys, OS, logging. And in this particular case, like, I go to keybind E in Vim, and I can edit my snippets. So, for example, if I wanted to, this is a little inception, like if I wanted to make a snippet called blarg and make a description, hello, this is a test, and every time I type blarg and hit tab, in a snippet context, I wanted it to do foobar baz, exclamation point. What I could do is type blarg and tab autocomplete, and it's there. So I do all sorts of stuff with that, like if I do a collection and I want to order dict or dictionary, that would put in, like, it decreases the typing. So the first part is the snippets. I really enjoy those for cutting down on typing. Let's see, what are some other ones that I use? Like some of the stuff. Yeah, there's all sorts of. Yeah, like, oh, for instance, say I wanted to do a JSON document, and I go assign a variable A1, and I want it to be range 1 to 50, for instance. If you just do print, it'll print it out kind of in a long form. Or like if I want to do a JSON dump, I just typed in JSON, and I have a snippet that's mapped to that, and I hit tab, and the snippet puts me where I want to be by default, and I just hit A. Now when I run it, Now when I run it, I get the long version of the array. So now that you've seen kind of another aspect of this, which is the run part, interactive debugging, let me show where that's set up. So in my Vim files, I have some settings that point to some run files. So basically, let's see here. So if I go to build Python, this is some of this is basically when I hit Shift R or Cap R inside of Vim in escape mode, it runs the program. And what it does is, based on some stuff in the vimrc, it detects the file type that it is, and then in Linux, it does a read link -e to get the full path of the file, makes it executable. If it's not, tries to detect if it's a Python 3 or Python 2 version, and puts the pver, the run string, here. And then it also does a check if it'll execute, so py compile, which doesn't actually run it, it just makes sure that it's syntactically correct. And then it puts executing, and then it puts the output between these two variables. Now, I have a variety of other build stuff like shell, for example, really basic. If you want to do like Java, there's a bit more because it compiles the Java and stuff. I haven't used that in quite some time. Which other one do I use quite a bit? Yeah, so I even have one for Markdown, believe it or not. And Markdown does pandoc, and then it opens up in Chromium and then removes the file after it's open, so it cleans up after itself. So like whatever you can imagine. And if you look at if you do a set FT, it'll show you what the file type is. So if you take note of that, in vimrc, the way that's set up is, let's see, all right. So this is the magic of that particular like interactive debugging stuff. I have a comp command and a run command, and WinR is the run command. I never use Z. I should probably take that out. But basically, like it says auto command file type, any file type, and then I want you to exec this statement. So it's basically building a interactive Vim command saying let run command equal execute Vim build, and then file type, which is in this case what I was running previously as Python. If you look here and I do set FT, it's going to say the file type is Vim. And it expands the file name, which is what you have here, and then what it's going to do is pipe it to less. So this is a basic like shell command string, and I have a map here saying map win cap R exec this run command and hit enter twice. So it's pretty cool. I use it all the time. It's one of the most extensively used features I built into Vim, and it works really well. So like, you know, if I'm doing args in commands and whatnot, a lot of times what I'll do when I'm debugging is I'll statically set the arguments. And if you look here, for instance, I have different arg types. Like if I'm let's see, args. So if I want to do like arg parse general, it sets up like a default set of commands. That's the snippets again. And what I would do in this case is let's just make a quick argument parse program. So count log level debug args. It's going to parse the args, and we'll comment that out, and I'll go like args equals, let's add argument, let's call this text. And I want to do -t and hello world. And I'm going to do a split on that. And I'm going to put a hyphen in here because there's some funkiness with me doing the whatchamacallit. Anyway, so instead of args parse args default, args v, and then do args v here. And now when I do print args, it has the namespace. So it has the args namespace. Let's see, say print args text format. All right, so now it's printing hello world. So like when I'm doing arguments, and that's like, these are command line switches. And Eric asked specifically about this. That's how I debug it, is I have like a commented version. And whenever you see me type something like that, where I like do that's the snippet stuff that I use. So now, if we were to try to run this again with the debug stuff, it's going to error out. It's going to say argument T is required. So now if I go to test PY, it'll give an error. Now I go hello world, and it'll output that. Yeah, so let's see. If you're asking about autocomplete, that's just a built-in, one of those built-in modules. And let's see here. Here's some of my various scripts. Actually, I think it's in the setup here. So I think You Complete Me and Jedi Vim is where some of that stuff is getting pulled from. Jedi Vim, I believe, is the Python stuff that I use. Super tab is some tab completion stuff that's unrelated, so it's kind of neat. It picks up if I use words like blarg, for instance. If I just start to type blarg, I can autofill it. That's helpful with a lot of different things. So yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, comment on the video, or follow me on Twitter and hit me up there. I'd be happy to help. And that's about all I have for now. Thanks for watching.